Hi everybody, this is Tina again. We're going to make another quick, semi-quick masculine card. I was using some stencils on my jelly prints, and if you don't know what jelly prints are, look up on YouTube. It's Gelli. There are jelly plates out that you can do mono printing with. Stampendos has their own version. It's called Creative Palette. I'm sure there's other companies out there that have them. They are tons of fun. You just use up ink, use up paint, and just have a blast. Well, I had a bunch of jelly prints laying around and needed some different masculine cards besides the one I had, and decided to stencil on them. So I used these two stencils from Crafter's Workshop. Um, One's called Aspen Trees, and the other one is called Branches, I think, unless I've got the packages mixed up. As you can tell, they're very much loved and used. I just stenciled with paint with a makeup sponge, and the trick is to make sure you dab off your makeup sponge once you grab the paint, so you aren't trying to load too much through it. So here are these two. Now, I wasn't too particular if I got the whole image or not. So there are instances like this one where I had stenciled through, and after I stenciled, of course, I ended up coloring it with Prisma colored pencils. Now, hopefully you can see this. There we go. This is a case of a paint blob right there. You see that bird? That's not supposed to be there. But both my husband and I looked and said, wow, that looks like a bird. So we got a bird added to this one. I'm going to make a larger card out of this particular one. But the actual image ended up coming out like this, except it, like I said, it was all flat because it was just regular paint. And yes, I know I should have or could have used different shades of paint and so on, but just wanted to get the shape out there and then just color it in and highlight it with the Prismacolor pencils. And here's another case. Like I said, I wasn't particularly careful as to whether I got the whole image on. If there was a sheet that I really liked of the jelly print, I mean, as you can tell, there's just totally different backgrounds. And those are the jelly prints, the actual jelly prints. If I really liked it and didn't take the whole stencil, I used it anyways. And such as in this case. Now, the actual this stencil actually comes out looking like this, and what I did was cut them in half because I wanted to use them on A2 cards, which are 5.5 by 4.25 cards. So we had this I've cut in half, and you know, like I said, some of those other ones I'm going to leave and make bigger cards from. This one in particular I cut in half. So I'm getting a 2-for-1 actually. 2 cards out of 1 stencil. Now this is what these end up looking like. Can you tell that I did not cut them evenly? Yeah. So it was wherever I had particularly wanted to focus on that point in time. That's what the card ends up on. And then there's other ones where, like I said, I had just this one I had a particular, I love the background, so I just stenciled what I could and then just cut it out the way it was. As you can see that there's a whole great big gap there. Make that better? On the right hand side where I just left the background show through. And as usual, I'm doing the cards in assembly line fashion, so on these I have the background done. I've got this glued together, and all I need is the sentiment on the side. So let's get going after all that jibber jabber. So like I had said, I really did not cut these into any particular size. So each one is varying. I'm going to take my cutter and make a mat for this. I have some regular black cardstock paper. I don't know what it is about black, but I love to use it because it makes this, seems to make the stuff pop. I also 99% of the time ink around my papers, even if they are going to be layered on black. So can you see? Yes. I am just giving myself a very thin layer of black right there. Let me see if I can zoom in any closer so you can see that better. Okay. And let me move that over here. There we go. See, I'm going to leave myself a thin layer of black, and the nice thing about the Fiskars cutters is that you have a piece of metal. See it? I don't know. Yeah, there's a metal wire that goes there, so you know exactly where this is going to cut. So I know I want it just a thin layer on each side, so I've got that. Put that in, pull it towards me. Now I need to cut off the top, so I'm also going to lay it on. I mean, this is real hard scientific work here. I've measured it out so well. Not. And I'm going to make sure I have a gap on the top and on the bottom. Pull it away, cut it down. And that cardstock paper I got at Hobby Lobby, it's a little bit thicker than regular paper and not quite as, nowhere near as close thick as on regular cardstock. I'm just going to grab, yeah, I know I have a craft sheet there, but I'm going to grab a glue paper. Have it. Okay. And I'm going to glue this together. Excuse me, got a string there already. And I'm using my favorite Beacon Hill adhesive. I use either Fabric Fix or Fabric Tack. And this particular one happens to be Fabric Tack. They both work equally well. They are very strong adhesives that don't warp the paper. I love that. Yes, I know I'm gluing this on upside down, but it doesn't matter at this particular moment. Come on, get my fingers to work here. There we go. There. Alright, so there's that top. Now I had already cut through my cardstock using the Spellbinders Matting Basics A for the black and Matting Basics B for the tan, and then I ran the tan cardstock through with the Sizzix Tim Holtz Alterations Wood Grain and sanded it and wiped off the sand with my used dryer sheet, and then I took a damp paper towel and wiped off every last one of them. Why? Because I'm going to be using some sticker paper, and I just want to make sure that's going to stick and not be kept from sticking by any kind of dust from the paper. Okay? So, like I said, I tend to, as I said before, I think on the last video, I tend to like to glue the stuff down and set it aside until I have it so it won't move around. And that's one of the reasons why I do the assembly line. But since we're doing this live and in person, let's do it this way. And I'm just going to glue this panel on. And I've heard a lot of people say that on dark cardstock, they cut a panel of white for the inside. Well, I do that just about on everything except for possibly white. For one thing, I don't have one cut right now, or actually I probably do up in my bag full of stash here, but for one thing, obviously you can write on it and read it better. But another thing, if you're cutting a panel, stamp on it before you glue it into the card, and you don't have to worry about, oh shoot, I didn't stamp it right. You know, if you goof up, you mess it up, you're only messing up that insert. You're not messing up the whole card. Okay, I can get my fingers on this thing. See if I can lay this down right. I'm used to standing up when I craft. I don't know about you. I know a lot of people like to sit down, but I love to stand up. For one thing, it has to do with my job. I sit at a computer most of the day. Another thing is I like to be able to look down and see what I have. Okay, the card's just about done. Now what I did was, right before the video, and again I'm having problems with my fingers here. There we go. Right before the video, I had taken this Cuttlebug die. It has It's Your Day, Sorry I Missed It, Make a Wish, Happy Birthday, some candles and some stars and so on. And used it to cut out this white, which I glued on some black cardstock and then cut around it to frame it and mat it. And used a Silhouette adhesive back cardstock. Now I'm assuming it's for the, sorry about that, I'm moving the camera because I'm trying to reach back here. I'm assuming it's for the Silhouette machine, but who knows. And it's got a nice texture on the top, as you can see, and then it's just adhesive on the back. So it automatically makes a sticker, and you don't have to fool around putting it through your Xyron machine and trying to get rid of all the extra stuff, that's all the extra glue that ends up coming out a lot of times if you're using the sticker machine and so on. Okay, so I'm going to put the B-Day right down here. Like I said, that's why I wiped off the embossed image after I sanded it with a damp paper towel. Let's see if we can get all these little innies out of here. Come on. Be nice and cooperate. Yay. Alright, so then put happy up here. I'm going to take this paper and rub over it to make sure it's down. And guess what? We have another card made. The longest it took, the longest part was coloring it. And I loved color. You know, you don't necessarily have to color. I mean, I got great English. I have some pieces which I actually did not color because I liked the background so much. Let's see. This one. I really liked how that turned out. I just thought that looked really cool. So I'm not coloring that one. But, and again, you could have colored it using the different shades of paint and stuff. And again, the less paint, the better. So, there's another quick masculine card for you. And I hope you enjoyed this and maybe learned something new. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Have a blessed day.